Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm back with my grandmother's 1940s Better Homes and Gardens cookbook. And today we are going to make a fall recipe because it's finally time. Fall is in the air. It's getting crispy. It's time for fall treats. And while it's not a pumpkin-y treat, because pumpkin wasn't like that popular in these days, I did find a lot of good apple-y things. So I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to make a vintage fall apple-y recipe. Now, if you're new here, my name is Claire and I love vintage recipes. I have a huge collection of old cookbooks, so make sure you hit subscribe if you like this type of content, and I will also leave a playlist of all of my previous vintage recipe adventures down below if you're in the mood for a binge. Now, my grandmother's cookbook is a little wild because what you would do, of course, is you would get the Better Homes and Gardens magazine and you would clip out the recipes you liked and then you would put them in your book. So it's a lot in here to kind of go through, but I scoured the pages and I found a great recipe. So actually back in the day, readers would submit their own recipes. So this recipe is for caramel baked apples. It's from Mrs. Sam Johnson in Madison, Wisconsin. And this came from the October 1947 issue of Better Homes and Gardens. So I thought that was really a cool thing. So yeah, let's do it. All of the ingredients in this recipe are still really accessible, which is great. We have flour, cinnamon, butter, walnuts, orange juice, apples, some raisins and sugar, and there will also be some water in this recipe, which I have not included in the spread. I do really love the format of these old cookbooks because very often the directions are really small. They're just a couple of sentences, and I like that it gets right to the point. So our first thing we need to do is wash apples and core. Pare about one strip around the top. See photograph. So we do have a nice little picture here, and I think they just mean the skin around the apple on the top. We want to peel that off. So yeah, simple enough. Let's do it. I wasn't sure what variety of apple to get, but Aldi had these Cosmic Crisp apples, and the marketing on these really got me. Like, I want a Cosmic Crispy apple. Snacking, baking, entertaining. It literally says that on the bag. You can entertain with these apples. Sold. I bought them. All right, technically the recipe called for 6 apples, but there were only 5 in that bag. Also, I had to go buy this apple corer because I did not own one. You better watch and subscribe and share so that I make at least $4 out of this video, because that's how much the corer costs. Oh, you want one? There's one for you. You want one? Here you go. I wonder what the reason to take the skin off the top is, if it's just like an aesthetic choice. So I'm gonna bake them in this pie dish. So I'm just gonna put them in there. There we go. Oh, it's gonna look pretty. One thing about 1940s and 50s food is that it always looks, I don't know, good, but it always has like an artistic sort of quality about it. Next, we need a half a cup of raisins. I'm not sure how many like little packs that equals, because this is the only type of raisin I have, and honestly, everyone in my house like really does not enjoy a raisin, I'm not gonna lie, so we'll see. I don't hate a raisin, but it's gotta be in the right context. Like, I'm not into a raisin cookie because I just feel like, why make it a raisin when it could be a chocolate chip? But I'll keep an open mind. Now we're going to fill the holes with the raisins. Wow, I'm making a mess. All right, I'm gonna set this aside. All right, next we're gonna chop up our walnuts. We need 1/4 cup of chopped walnuts. I don't know why I didn't have just pre-chopped walnuts. Although this is not hard. I think the pre-chopped ones are cheaper, but I already had these, so that's why I'm using them. I also think it's interesting that it's walnuts and not like pecans, because I would like associate this more with a pecan, but like, I don't know. All right, we're gonna set this aside. Next, we're gonna combine our flour, our sugar, and our cinnamon. You guys, this recipe calls for half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Like, there are supposed to be 6 apples, and that is how much cinnamon is in this recipe? Come on. Come on, Mrs. Sam Johnson. I think we can throw more cinnamon in there, but we will do it as written. As far as flour goes, we're doing 3 tablespoons. And we're also adding 1/3 of a cup of sugar. All right, now we have 3 tablespoons of butter, and we're gonna cut the butter in. I usually do this with a fork. It's just like how you make a pie crust. It's basically gonna turn this into like a crumbly sort of situation. I am going to cut the butter up a little bit first, because that usually just makes it a little easier. And if you are recreating this at home or doing a crumble, make sure you stop before the warmth of your hands starts melting the butter. Now we're gonna add our walnuts. And now we're going to put some on top of each apple. It says sprinkle, but I'm not really sure that's the right word to use for what we're doing here. I do think it's interesting that this recipe is meant to caramelize in the oven, so we're not actually making any caramel. It's just supposed to like melt in the oven. And now for our last 2 ingredients, we have 1/2 cup of orange juice and 1/2 cup of water. And we're just gonna pour that into the pan. And basically what the instructions say is that throughout the baking of this, we are going to use the orange juice and the water to baste our apples. All right, she's ready for the oven. All right, so my oven is set to 350 degrees, and we are going to bake these for 1 hour. I'm gonna come in at the 20-minute mark, the 40-minute mark, and then at the end, and we're gonna do a little basting. So we're gonna do this in 20-minute increments, and I think that's the best way. Oh my God, it smells so good. All right, doing our little basting now. You guys, this might be the best smelling thing, at least, that I've ever cooked from one of these old cookbooks. Oh my gosh. All right, and now we're gonna pop them back in for 20 more minutes. All right, they're looking even toastier now for their second basting. The apples are looking really soft too. The liquid on the bottom is also starting to get like quite syrupy, which I think is good. Now they're going in for their final 20-minute installment. Oh, it smells so good. Oh my gosh. I can't believe we have found something so delicious looking from 1947. All right, you guys, it doesn't say in the instructions to serve these warm. However, I am going to. It does, however, say to serve them with cream. I am just too lazy to whip some cream up right now. I'm just not gonna do it. Plus, heavy cream is expensive and I never eat it all. It's always like sitting in the big carton. So we're doing this today. Not very 1947 of me, I'm not gonna lie. Extra creamy whipped dairy topping from Aldi. That's what we're using. And it's gonna be good enough, you know, whatever. Anyway, I'm really excited to try these, and my husband, who has spent the whole day cleaning out the garage, gets to try them too, and he has no idea that I've prepared him something that's delicious, hopefully, and not crazy, which sometimes in the past, he has had to try some pretty gross vintage stuff, so hopefully he'll be happy with this one. All right, let's eat it. Oh my gosh. These are so pretty. Could you imagine these coming out on Thanksgiving? Oh my God. You guys, they're so cute. All right.
What is this?
This is a caramel apple bake. Is that what it's called? I can't remember. It is from 1947 though.
Okay.
It's nice and soft.
Okay. She's invited to the party.
Whoa. I really thought that I would be upset with the raisins, and I'm not. They are like really like soft and gooey and not raisiny.
A nice
if that
compliment
makes sense.
to the nuts. Are these pecans?
No, they're walnuts.
Walnuts. Mmm.
I'm easily gonna slam this whole thing.
Yes, it's delicious.
And like the syrupy glaze, the basting, do not skip that part if you make this recipe. Do not skip the basting. Oh my gosh. Seriously, the buttery, orange juicy sauce.
Could be easily gonna eat this one.
Oh my gosh. I think this might be the best vintage recipe we have ever made.
This is anti-ham banana as possible.
This is the furthest from ham banana you could ever get.
This is the best one.
Wow. You guys, you should try this. And you don't even have to follow the recipe exactly, but just the same idea. If you want to stuff it with something different, if you don't want to stuff it with raisins, you could do like tons of stuff.
I think this would also work for peaches.
Ooh, a peach. Oh my gosh. All right, you guys, there you have it. Another vintage recipe in the books, and definitely happy to say that this one was so seriously delicious. Leave me a comment down below, let me know. Have you ever made a baked apple like this, like as a dessert? I'm curious to know because I suppose, you know, there are other recipes like it, but I've never tried anything like this before and it's so seriously good. Yeah, let me know. Is this something that your family does this time of year? I would love to hear it. And of course, come on back for more of this type of content and great vintage recipes. And I hope your fall is getting off to a great start and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.